Hello guys, and welcome back to this very special Kiev Cultural Changemaker special. I'm of course your host and founder of the Interpreting Wine podcast, Lawrence Francis. And while I'm based in London, travelling and uncovering great new places is really part of who I am. And one of my biggest discoveries of the last year has been the city of Kiev, capital of Ukraine. This series of 9 interviews was recorded in October 2018 and in March 2019, and I hope captures a sense of not only what's happening in the food and drink scene, touching as it does on wine and local cuisine, but also captures a sense of where the city is heading through design, music and cultural change. And I hope that if you or anybody you know is planning to visit to the city, you'll use this series as an audio guide, both to discover fantastic places to eat and drink, and also understand some of the wider cultural context. So here we go, today's episode of the Kiev Cultural Changemaker Special. Today's episode of the Kiev Cultural Changemaker Special features Yaroslav Artiukh of Ukrainian restaurant Kanapa. Restaurant Kanapa is widely credited with presenting Ukrainian cuisine in a modern, innovative style. We hear from Chef Yaroslav, his origin story and how he got his start in the restaurant business. He discusses the development of the menu at Kanapa, talks the reception among Ukrainians to the cuisine, and discusses recommended food pairings for the dishes. Enjoy!
So his name is Yaroslav. He's 28 years old, and he started his way from 16. He saw some advertising about the beer and how that beer is doing. And that's not a good beginning, but still he was inspired of that. With advertising of the beer, he saw also the recipe of pork roulette, and in some days, his mom came home and bought some pork, and she was thinking about what to do with that pork roulette and so on, and he asked her for the sign. At that times, you might go to some mall and show that sign of the parents that you can buy beer, some alcohol. So he was trying to do some special pork roulette with the beer. Yeah, because Mama didn't know what to do.
Тебе можно купить бутылочку пива. Это была моя самая первая.
So that was the first trying to do something unique and unbelievable, and that's the starting of the way of his as a cook. And then he was thinking about to do to mix some different types of dishes and to try to do some new recipes. And so it was like he opened the fridge, found something, and do some good dish. And he wanted to enter to the university and to take some knowledge about the good knowledge about the cooking.
Знания в этой профессии.
So after the graduating from the college, not the university college, maybe law college, he worked at some not a good place, not a good cafe, but there were a lot of good teachers for him, and he was learned to do some new things, and he took a lot of knowledge with that teachers, and now it helps him it was pushment in his life and what he's doing now.
И он становился успешным.
So after that cafe, he came to some good restaurant, and he was a helper of the cook, And you know that story, then someone was fired and he was recommended as a cook in that restaurant. He worked few years, and then he found new way. So he was at the restaurant of Dmitry Borisov, of our chef of our restaurants. It was Barsuk, the first place where he worked. He was like simple cook, and then he changed the restaurant for the Gastrorok. He was cook, then sous chef, and when in 2013 Dmitry Borisov was on the way to open the Kanapa, and Yaroslav decided to change whole his way in his life. The Gastrorok is European cuisine, and Kanapa is Ukrainian cuisine. And his idea was to experiment with Ukrainian cuisine, to do something unique, something new, and something special. So he is his chef for 3 years.
Здесь уже шефствует там сколько? 3 года точно.
As seems to happen a lot, the timing of the story is perfect, because I've just been served a dish here from the menu, which I didn't order. Yaroslav ordered for me, so I don't know really anything about this. It looks delicious, but yeah, it would be my honor to hear from Yaroslav about this dish, what it consists of, and maybe something about the development of it.
So this is the chopped beef. It serves with the bograch sauce, the crispy buckwheat chips, and with the salty cucumber. Instead of salt, we use foie gras. Foie gras with the goose liver. So goose liver is marinated in salt for 3 months to be salty, exactly. And the idea of that dish was very unusual as for me. So that soup, it's like a first dish and the main course, bograch. It consists of 3 types of meat with the pepper, with the pepper and red wine, right? And it's very full dish, filling, yeah. And his idea was to do something new, something unusual, so that dish inspires him to take fresh meat with the bograch sauce, and now you can see it. And our recommendation is to mix up all stuff that you see, to take a full taste of that. So the Ukrainian cuisine is actually very fat and hard for your stomach, and a lot of foreign people, they are not used to seriously to our cuisine. So, and our idea at Kanapa, we are trying to do the kitchen and cuisine more easier and lighter for people who come here, and we're mixing the traditional recipes with something new and unusual things. That's the idea for us.
Fantastic! Yeah, I was just trying this as you were talking there, and absolutely, I'm getting a really balanced experience. It's not spicy. It's light. I guess it's doing everything that you'd want a starter to do, and it's just it was beautifully presented on the plate as well, and I get that idea of opening up the cuisine here to people who maybe are not used to having it, and I think this is always how the food tastes. I think, is super important, and this is delicious. Therefore, my mind then goes to, who do you have coming here? You know, I mean, you've spoken about making Ukrainian food more accessible to foreigners or to people, you know, from outside. Is this concept, therefore, also popular with local people?
So, unfortunately, the Ukrainian cuisine is not so popular as some Japanese, Europeans, and Turkish and so on cuisines that we have in the world. But a lot of people know us as a very good, popular, and atmospheric place. And when their friends from another countries come here, they're running and book a table here to let him see what we have and what we do, and then they are very surprised of it, in good way, of course. So, except of wine, the traditional and some special drink in Ukraine is for sure cordial and some ratafia and balms. So, you know the difference that cordial is more bitter, sour, and some drinks that maybe a couple decades, 10 years ago, our grandmas did. So it was like a herbal drink to be in good health and so on. It's like, yeah, very healthy cordial. It's maybe 20 till 30 degrees. And also we have sweeter way of that drink. The base of it can be fruit, berries, and so on. And also we know that now it's very like popular to in Europe to do some sweet cordial with the vegetables.
What was brought over as well to go with the first dish was a couple of different vodkas, and these, I believe, are made here and are exclusive to here. So could you talk a bit about the production really behind these? And then, how do you go about matching and putting suggested pairings with dishes on the menu?
So now in the world is very like popular and modern way to use some new techniques and new way to do some dishes, drinks, and so on. And the way of our cordials, we use the sous vide for to do the taste and the history of that drink is, you know, the Ukrainians get used to make some preparation for the winter, because we don't throw away the fruits or vegetables when we have a lot of them and from our fields, you know. And we get used to do some jams with dried fruits, berries, and so on. The idea is to mix berries, fruits, vegetables, herbs with alcohol. That was alcohol maybe a lot of years ago, only for the special dates, for the weddings, birthdays, and when you come as a guest to someone's house, the father of the family brings a very like dirty bottle of that alcohol from the this is it. And we find a new way to do some alcohol drinks. We read a lot of books about the very old traditions, and we modern them.
This is fascinating for me because, I think almost the old techniques are the new techniques. The things that have been forgotten. Some of them maybe should have been forgotten, but some of them shouldn't have been forgotten. And there is that. I think there needs to be that curiosity about what has been lost. And if you think it's something that people will be interested in, then it should be brought back. As you were giving the description there about the vodka and the history behind it, the second dish has come out. So again, it looks beautiful. I won't say too much about it. I'll just hand it over to Yaroslav and ask you to again talk about the inspiration and what is on the plate here before me.
So this is the aspic with hair and pheasant meat. It goes also with a tiny slice of the molecular horseradish. We mix horseradish with the sour cream, and it makes it lighter and tender than it got used to. No. And our recommendation is to do some pairing with the horseradish cordial. It's like very tender dish, aspic, with the strong alcohol.
One of the trends that I see living in London is chefs moving and popping up in different restaurants and in different cities to bring their ideas and bring their cuisines. And I'm just wondering, your concept here was very much about what it would be like for somebody outside coming to Ukraine. And I'm just wondering then, if you were to take your concept and yourself and your recipes overseas, say to London, what sort of ideas would you anticipate exploring over there? Would they be different to the ones that you're exploring here at the restaurant?
So the most important thing that we use only local products, and the base of his traveling and popping up our cuisine is to take with him some Ukrainian products, as sea buckthorn butter, the pike caviar, the Ukrainian cheese, brinza from the East Ukraine, and salo, the special pork fat of yes. And to mix up the Ukrainian cuisine with another cuisine, and to do something unique, special, and unseen for the rest of countries. And sometimes Yaroslav sees new techniques, new products than he never seen before, and he understands that he may do something special with it, something that no one ever tried before. So he has a friend in London who's from Ukraine. And when someone asks about where are you from and who you are, he tells that he's from Ukraine. And they're like, Ukraine? Where is it? And he's trying to make them understand that Ukraine is like, the borscht, the vareniki, like you may know it as with Chernobyl, but less people know about Chernobyl, and maybe about some popular artists and so on, like Shevchenko. He's a poet. They still don't understand. And someone can, the Kyiv, chicken Kyiv, that cutlet? Yeah, and a lot of European people know about Ukraine just because of chicken Kyiv. It was written in some magazines, and that's the only thing they know about the Ukraine, the chicken Kyiv, unfortunately.
As I always like to end the interview is really just to encourage you, be a bit speculative. What do you think might be on the horizon, or what might you be looking forward to and excited about?
His idea and plan in the future to modern our Ukrainian cuisine and to make it more worldwide, more popular, and make people know about the Ukraine more in good way. And when he is invited in other countries, he do it like he come here with some happiness. He doesn't think about the money, what it can brings him. It goes by heart. He want to know, to make people know about the Ukraine, our techniques that we have, our products that we have, and food, dishes, drinks. This is like the plan for the future to make our cuisine known.
I think it's a worthwhile mission, and I'm just wondering, do you have ideas around the media by which you will do that? Because obviously you traveling and you being present, it takes time and takes money and takes focus and energy away from here. I'm just wondering, through any other formats, obviously through this podcast you're going to sort of travel, but any other plans to kind of, or are you already producing media to get that message across, video, audio, or written?
Да, у нас была когда-то возможность к нам тоже приехал.
Actually, maybe some time ago we have a guest from London, and it's an offer. His plan and idea was to write some book with the Ukrainian chief, with Yaroslav, but something went wrong, and we don't have a book. No. But in the future, if we find a person that who would like to do some good book, to write something good about the chefs and the Ukrainian cuisine, it will be very grateful. Yeah. Now we are working on the dishes, Ukrainian dishes, but their looks very differently from the past. We use new and modern techniques, local products that you never seen before. And also we have the menu set where Yaroslav experiments with the techniques and ways to produce it. And the idea is to let know our world about the special Ukrainian products as a cheese, for example, mushrooms. We have a truffle, Ukrainian truffle. We have more than 80 types of cheese. If we find some new farms, we'll try to connect with them and to make some new taste. We're trying to make people know about the Ukraine more as a producer, more as a artist in the cuisine. And Ukrainian cuisine is very special.
До наших гостей и до гостей с других стран.
Thank you so much, Yaroslav, and also big thanks to your colleague for providing the interpretation of that interview. For me, Kanapa is a very unique place to explore Ukrainian cuisine, and I would say a must-visit for your time in Kiev. Since our interview, Yaroslav also enjoyed a residency at Carousel Restaurant in London, so do keep an eye out to see where he'll be popping up next in the world. As ever, you can find below details of the website and main social media handles for Kanapa. And while you're at it, head over to interpretingwine.com/listen for details of where the podcast is broadcast, and if you haven't done already, to subscribe. Next time in this Kiev Cultural Changemaker special, in episode 313, we fast forward to the interviews I recorded in March 2019, kicking things off with Vasily Rogol of Bursa Hotel, Kiev. See you then.